So I started when I was in high school. So before that, I really didn't draw. I really didn't do anything. My mom was an artist. She always wanted me to be an artist, and I was just wanting to play outside. So high school, I took it as a blow-off class freshman year, and I kind of just fell in love with it. And really, just the creativity part of it, the freedom part of it, really inspired me to keep going. And then sophomore year of high school, I won the congressional art competition, and really from there I realized that I kind of had a knack for it, and I kind of was interested in learning how to paint, how to draw, and technique and detail and stuff like that. And then sophomore year, my college that I went to, the American Academy of Art, came to my school, and they started a tour and stuff like that. So the college accepted me, and this was sophomore year of high school, and I really wasn't planning on going to college or anything, so I checked out a couple other schools, and I ended up going there. And it was really, once I got into college, it was about learning technique and learning my craft and figuring out where to go from there in the real art world. I think style is interesting because it's always developing and it's always changing throughout the years. So I always think my style changes every body of work that I do, but looking back, there's a slow development that happens. So I was always interested in detail and realism and figuring out how to use the medium that I'm using. So whether it was spray paint, whether it was airbrush, whether it was pen, pencil, ink, I really just wanted to figure out how to do it and how to make something look like something out of it. So going to the Art Institute, looking at the paintings, I wanted to figure out how to do that. So I think as I started to develop and the show, about a year ago, I was asked to be a part of the show Counterparts, and I had to put my first really big body of work together. And I really had to think about concept, I had to think about what I was interested in, looking back at other pieces, I had to think about, what am I using, what material am I using, and I ended up, I'm kind of stuck in between this. I have a fine art education, but I'm in love with the urban art scene, the urban art community, so I picked the two mediums that represented that. So spray paint represents really the urban art community, and oil painting represents really the fine art classicism. So my style is kind of a combination of both mixed in, and it definitely leans a little bit more toward the realism, classicism, but I'm also using a lot of spray paint and urban materials to utilize that conflict. So if we're going back into like Renaissance and Taoist and surreal, I'm really into like the surrealist. I like Magritte. I love Dali. I love that they're using traditional materials and traditional techniques to push beyond the where the medium can go, where the ideas can go. Nowadays, for sure, I hang out with a lot of artists, and with the internet, you've seen artists everywhere. But Colin Manderson is definitely one of my favorite artists. Hera Gut, and really just I take a lot of inspiration from a lot of these artists, whether it's their technique, whether it's their style, whether it's their determination. But I think it's always important to learn from these artists and use it in your own work. So in general, I'm inspired really by nature and humanity and kind of how that works, but over the years I've kind of realized my process is about opposites and how opposites can attract, or even the title of the show Counterparts, and how things work together. So the main subject matter that I work with is life and death, humanity and nature, chaos and order, and really the concept of finding home. But I definitely take inspiration from everything in the world. There's so much that you can see. A lot of my work is really personal stories to me that I use really universal motifs and symbolism to connect to the audience so that they can kind of project their own ideas onto it, project their own stories, stuff like that. Birds have always really been in my work. I can go back to when I was in high school drawing. I was drawing owls, I was drawing sparrows, stuff like that. But for me, the bird, and really it's a universal symbol for freedom, it's a universal symbol for flight. Humans always had the want to fly and be free and stuff like that. So I play a lot with the caged bird versus the free bird and stuff like that. But I think for me, like, the bird became a self-portrait of such. So the birds in the paintings act as humans, interacting with humans or interacting with themselves, and really just kind of just playing with that whole humanity and nature concept. I mean, I've been putting the show together for about a year. So about a year ago, Patrick asked me if I wanted to do something, and it worked out perfect because it was my last semesters of school. So I really just focused on putting work together for the show, and that's what went for my portfolio and stuff like that. Conceptually, I really wanted to play with opposites and really clearly show opposites. So in the center of the wall, there's this big piece that has a light side and a dark side, and from the shadow side, all the pieces on that side are dark and honestly full of life. And then all the pieces on the light side are light and kind of like show the death side of it. So there's good and the bad and the bad and the good. And really playing with that urban fine art conflict that I go through and trying to figure out, you know, what style I want to work in, and doing a lot of realism stuff. I did some local Chicago graffiti artists and had their tags in the pieces, kind of like going over what's already there and what I already painted, just beautifying it, I think. Yeah. Not sure. I really like my most recent piece. It's always like, once I'm done with it, it's like, oh yeah, that was cool, and then I do another piece, and I was like, oh, I could have done the piece before that. It's so much better. And then you kind of got to get over that and keep going, keep advancing and stuff. That's all it is, really advancing. I'm sure I'll look back at this show like years from now and be like, that's terrible. I could do better. For the most recent piece, there's a little dead rabbit that I painted, and I think that's definitely my favorite piece. Yeah, actually, I think it's a perfect group show just because we were all friends before this. We all started at a gallery called Paper Crown Gallery, and it was out in Arlington Heights, and it was really a gallery for up-and-coming artists, no-name artists, and that's where I started my first ever show there, was at Paper Crown Gallery. I met Pizza in the Rain at Paper Crown Gallery. I saw Crop's work at Paper Crown Gallery, I met him later on, but yeah, we all knew each other, we were all friends. It was really nice working with all of them to get the show together. This is a company that I started in February of this year, and it's basically